The timeline of the Vedic period stretches across nearly a millennium, spanning from roughly 1500 BC to 600 BC. Examining this era as a single, uniform block obscures a massive rupture right in the middle. The year 1000 BC cleanly cleaves this history into two distinct halves, the Early Vedic era and the Later Vedic era. The year 1000 BC marks a physical and social pivot point that rewired the entire geography of the subcontinent. Populations transitioned from fluid, nomadic pastoralism into permanently settled, heavily bordered kingdoms. To trace the origins of the great Indian empires, we have to look at the exact mechanical chain reaction triggered at this 1000 BC threshold. Our data for the Early Vedic period relies almost entirely on one text, the Rig Veda. The geography it describes is highly localized, mapping a society confined entirely to the northwestern valleys and the plains of Punjab. After 1000 BC, we see a rapid expansion in the literary record. The Rig Veda is joined by the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, and the Atharva Veda. This corpus is further expanded by the compilation of the Brahmanas and the early Upanishads. These documents function as ancient data logs. By tracking the specific rivers, mountains, and regions mentioned across these successive texts, historians map a deliberate, continuous migration eastward. The sheer volume and intricacy of this new literature serves as a direct mirror. A larger library was required to document a civilization that was rapidly multiplying in both physical size and social complexity. For centuries, eastward expansion was blocked by a formidable geographic barrier, the dense, ancient timberlands of the Gangetic plain. Around 1000 BC, a precise technological lever emerged to break that barrier. The Aryans began mass-producing iron axes. Unlike earlier copper or bronze tools, iron possessed the raw durability and kinetic force required to systematically chop through deeply rooted hardwood forests. The Shatapatha Brahmana documents exactly how this terraforming occurred. Alongside the axe, they utilized controlled fire to accelerate the massive scale of deforestation. Stripping away the forest canopy revealed an immensely valuable economic asset beneath: wide, flat plains of highly fertile alluvial soil. Iron acted as an environmental terraforming tool. By clearing the Gangetic plains, it permanently dragged the demographic center of gravity to the east. Access to this nutrient-rich soil triggered a hard economic pivot. The population moved away from mobile pastoralism and committed to high-yield agriculture. The mechanics of farming demand physical permanence. Cultivating crops requires a workforce locked to specific plots of land across multiple harvesting seasons. In the early Vedic period, the primary political unit was the Jana, a mobile tribe bound by kinship, drifting without set borders. Agricultural dependency forced the Jana to physically anchor themselves. They evolved into the Janapada, a geographically fixed territorial state. The definition of wealth mutated. Instead of measuring prosperity in roaming cattle, power became strictly defined by the defense and ownership of newly drawn borders. The invention of the bordered kingdom in India was a direct, inescapable byproduct of this new agricultural dependency. This new agrarian system generated something the nomadic tribes rarely had: a predictable food surplus. For the first time, large segments of the population did not have to farm or hunt. Calories could now support entirely separate professions, leading to the rapid emergence of specialized priests, dedicated warriors, and skilled artisans. This marked a sharp departure from the early Vedic tribes, where survival demanded a roughly egalitarian distribution of labor. But this initial division of labor quickly hardened. It formalized into a strict hierarchy, locking society into the rigid, four-tiered Varna system. Vertical social mobility was systematically restricted. The structure was engineered to maintain civic order and protect inherited privileges of newly formed upper classes. Religious practices mirrored this exact ossification. The fluid, nature-based rituals of the early Sanatana Dharma were institutionalized into the highly exclusive, complex ceremonies of Brahmanism. The expansion of the later Vedic era presents a historical paradox. The acquisition of advanced technology and economic security actively dissolved the social equality of the earlier tribes. By 600 BC, the texts provide precise coordinates for just how aggressively this agrarian machine had expanded. The literature begins tracking completely new frontiers. The Vindhya Mountains appear in the record, clearly marking the establishment of a southern boundary. We also see the first explicit records of massive marine boundaries, with authors referencing the waters of the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea. These geographic data points confirm that the Aryans had grown out of an isolated regional pocket into a vast interconnected network equipped with a sophisticated understanding of the subcontinent. The political reality of this expansion was codified directly into the later Vedic texts. The known subcontinent was formally categorized into 3 distinct macroregions. The sprawling northern plains were defined as Aryavarta, the central belt became known as Madhya Desha, and the expansive southern territories were mapped as Dakshinapatha. By following the introduction of a single iron tool through to the creation of agricultural surpluses, the mechanics of this era become clear. The later Vedic period physically engineered the bedrock geopolitical borders that would directly produce the Janapadas and, eventually, the first great Indian empires.